Welcome, everyone. Good boy, Tucker. This is learning at its most fun.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me for another Building Your Tech Stack with Redtail CRM. Today, we have our friends from Cleverdome telling us how to take key cloud applications off the open internet. Joining me today, we have Frank and Brian. Brian, Frank, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Awesome. Before we start, I just want to start with a couple of introductions here. Frank, let's start with you. Can you go ahead and tell us what is your role at Cleverdome?
Sure. Again, this is Frank Martin. I am the Director of Sales and Customer Success here at Cleverdome.
Awesome. And Brian, your role with Cleverdome?
I'm actually a client of Cleverdome's. I work at United Planners broker-dealer. I am the product support specialist at the United Planners broker-dealer.
Awesome. And Frank, just in case people aren't familiar with Cleverdome on this webinar, can you tell us a little bit about what Cleverdome is and how your company came to be?
Sure. So really, the company came to be because there was lots of security compliance type issues that needed to be supported by very, very expensive tools. And a lot of the smaller broker dealerships really couldn't afford that, but at the same time had to be compliant. So Cleverdome was actually originated to put some sort of consortium as smaller brokers together, working with other dealer brokers, to be able to provide various different solutions that were at an affordable price. So therefore they can basically have the same security as these larger broker dealers had.
Awesome. And one of those broker dealers that uses Cleverdome is United Planners. And so, Brian, that's where you come in. Can you tell us a little bit about what Zero Trust is and why it's so important?
Yeah, Zero Trust is, think of it as a software-defined perimeter to gain access to our most important data, our client's data, the advisor's data. So what we have to do is verify. So that could be anything from credentials, that could be most importantly 2FA, validating their devices. So making sure their devices are actually protected, up to par, updated, and then limiting what access is out in the internet, the open internet. So if we are using our client's data and passing it back and forth between vendors through the open internet, we definitely want to remove that off of that open internet through a secure channel versus out in the open.
Awesome. And so why is that important?
So it's important to not have your data getting stolen or even in the ransomware effect being blocked and being locked down, because if they have access to that data, they have access to your entire world and your client's data specifically.
And so, Brian, can you tell us?
Go ahead, sorry.
No, definitely. So here we have a use case with United Planners. Can you tell us the story of how United Planners went dark?
Yeah, so we got in Trada, which is a auditing tool for cybersecurity, to make sure all of those devices that are accessing our back office website is up to date, has the proper cybersecurity tools, so a high cyber risk score, not to mention the credentials and multi-factor authentication built into our Connect Up website, our main website. And then we added the Cleverdome software to their devices to remove our back office infrastructure off the open internet by going quote unquote dark. So there's going to be a slide about what going dark entails, what that looks like. And that's what we essentially did with Cleverdome. So with Trada and making sure the device is actually secure. And then with Cleverdome, we actually removed our entire back office infrastructure off the open internet. It's only accessible if you have a secure connection with that secure network.
Awesome. So
with the back office, it has our home office SSOs, but not to mention some of our strategic partner SSOs as well.
Awesome. And so Frank, can you kind of tell us a little bit what we mean by when we say going dark? What does that mean to an advisor in their advisory firm?
Sure. What that means is really you're taking your information off the open internet. So therefore, nobody can see your endpoints. Nobody can have access to the information in transit. So in a sense, it's all going dark. So, versus the open internet where, the hackers exist and actually potentially can get into your critical information. And, that's what you're trying to avoid.
Okay. So this leads us.
Yeah, let's see what Google, can we go to what Google has to say about going dark?
Sure.
5. There it is. So going dark. It is military lingo, which is also kind of cool. It's sudden termination of communication. So what that means is it's not visible. So it can't be seen on the open internet. It can't be monitored. It can't be even reviewed or specifically seen. So a sudden termination of communication is the best way to actually say it when the term going dark is described.
Gotcha. Okay, and so Frank, how does Cleverdome play into this? How does Cleverdome address cybersecurity issues?
Sure. So the example with United Planners has to do with really building a zero trust type model, security model. And if you look at where things are going, that seems to be something that really they're pushing. They're offering guidance. I mean, here in this slide here, you've got CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, that just basically published a guidance. They're encouraging companies to go zero trust. The quickest way to go zero trust is by taking your information off the open internet, and that's really what Cleverdome was designed to do.
Awesome. And so why should I use Cleverdome?
Sure. So there's a lot of various different, reasons, and we have them here. Essentially what you're trying to do is what's the fastest way to get your information off the open internet, and really is by using, Cleverdome. And one thing about Cleverdome when we designed it, specifically it was for the financial industry. By doing this, we've made, specific things to it where we actually can automate, some of your compliance mandates. It hides your endpoints. It basically makes it near impossible for interception of, hackers getting your information and actually replicating it. You have faster internet speeds because unlike VPN that actually puts everything into a pipe, we actually microsegment, specific applications are critical. So you'll start to see between 3 to 5 times, faster speeds. Also implementation, it takes hours to implement. It's nothing more than downloading. All we need to know is the specifics of, the type of the applications that you need to secure, and we just add that on. And there's absolutely no change to your workflow. So in other words, let's say you implement Cleverdome and, you're using Office 365, using, Outlook, you're sending email. There's no difference between, using Outlook 65 even after implementation. It's all done in the background. So it's a very simple, inexpensive, fast solution to your information off the open internet, and basically, start becoming compliant, making sure that things are secure. And again, we're working with a lot of various different companies, including, obviously United Planners to do that.
Gotcha, Frank. So to kind of summarize what you said there, it's going to help me to take Redtail and my various other softwares off the open internet. That is going to help me to make sure that all of my data in my network is secure and protected. Did I
Correct.
Correctly?
Correct.
Awesome.
And at a very affordable price.
There we go. All right. Awesome. And so how do you do that? How do you get set up with Cleverdome?
It's nothing more than us working with your IT team to basically set up a download. Once a download is set up, then we have to know really which applications you want to secure. We have that list, and then something more from us to turn that on. And essentially you'll see a little green light telling you that things are secure. And again, you just use your machine as you normally would. You go to the applications and use them as you did before, and we would basically secure it as the information is being transmitted. So again, it's very innocuous. You don't even realize it's even there.
Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
So here is a link to the story that Brian shared with us, and it is United Planners increasing their cybersecurity using Cleverdome and essentially going dark, as we learned the term today, to help take all of their applications and data off of the open internet. Frank, anything else to add?
Feel free to reach out to me. Here's my email address, frank@cleverdome.com. You can call me on my cell. Again, if you have any questions or want to find out some more information about that, again, there's lots of things that we do with this application, taking your information off the internet, but also providing, some sort of automation for a lot of compliance mandates. We can make it a lot easier and a lot secure within a matter of hours. So just something to think about.
Awesome. We can find out more information on cleverdome.com, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so there's Frank's contact information. If you'd like to reach out with him one-on-one, feel free to send an email to that email address or give that number a call. Frank will work with you one-on-one to answer your questions and maybe even get you set up with Cleverdome, so that way you too can go dark and take a lot of your data off of the internet.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for their time as well. Appreciate it.
Brian, Frank, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for sharing it with us about Cleverdome. Again, folks, if you want more information, feel free to reach out to Frank at the email address and the phone number provided on your screen. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us today for this particular session. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give us a call at 800-206-5030, option 3 for support, or just shoot us an email over to support@redtailtechnology.com. Thanks a lot and have a great day.